Before I continue, here's the Bright Dust gains comparison on screen. Let that sink in. Basically, 5 years ago you could get up to 86,400 Bright Dust over a 6-month period had you completed every weekly bounty every week that offered Bright Dust, not including events or other sources like repeatable bounties that you could grind infinitely. Now in 2025, you can grind up to 49,200 Bright Dust, almost half the amount in the same time frame, but for more effort. Let me clarify by more effort. By this, I mean you can get the first 19,200 Bright Dust from the weekly seasonal track by doing the weekly challenges and finishing the reward track each week. Might take a few hours or less if you're fast, but you gotta do this every week. The other 24,000 is dependent on you grinding common and legendary orders for up to a cap of 1,000 Bright Dust per week. But this total calculation is assuming that you do this every single week for 6 months. Not much effort, you can do it in Cherokee but it's boring AF. But the last 6,000 is purely RNG determined by getting exotic orders for up to 6,000 Bright Dust cap per season. I haven't got a single one yet and you need 30 of them. If you were specifically a Bright Dust farmer, your best, most efficient method would be the 2020 version. It's simple, it's basic, and it's easy. Bear in mind that there were methods back then for farming the repeatable bounties infinitely for Bright Dust as much as you wanted. Now you can only farm the legendary or exotic orders for 10 or 30 Bright Dust after the cap is reached, which, let's be real, you're unlikely to get more than a few hundred Bright Dust doing that per week, even if you do spend a lot of time grinding. The majority of the player base will not even get a 10th of this Bright Dust by the end of the season. That's my take, your opinion is your opinion, but this system for getting Bright Dust is disgustingly bad. Don't mistake me though for the actual system overall, because the orders system is actually really good. It's just a way of getting Bright Dust isn't. I wanted to talk about this topic because I saw a post today from ePhotographer over on Reddit titled "Bungie reduced Bright Dust gains, once again, no challenges, and only 3 weekly portal objectives, granting only 50 Bright Dust each," and he goes on to say, "I'm asking the community, how much are we willing to take? Expansion after expansion, they cripple our Bright Dust gains. For what reason?" Well, the reason is simple. It's greed and a manipulative strategy to diminish your Bright Dust, so you eventually spend real money in the store with silver. He goes on to say that with the Edge of Fate, they removed Pathfinder, with Renegades they removed challenges, they reduced the amount gained from weekly objectives to 50, as well as the objectives from 5 to 3, and removed bounties. Are we really supposed to grind for Bright Dust 10 at a time from Portal, from active orders? We used to be able to farm for this currency. What happened? Just remove it altogether, why don't you? And he's not wrong, the fact is true that we are getting less Bright Dust every expansion for a longer recurring season. As this user pointed out, back in the day we used to get 3,600 Bright Dust per week. They removed that, then added seasonal challenges to give us Bright Dust, but season by season that Bright Dust you got diminished over time without you really realising. Years later, we're now sat here getting a total of 800 per week from this track if we're looking at this the simple way, based on a weekly objective formula, since back in the day farming 10 Bright Dust bounties was a thing you could do infinitely, whereas now you can't do that. There's a limit. It's just such a shame to see where we've come to what we're getting now. The point is, they're lowering Bright Dust gains very slowly over time to make you think that what we're getting the next expansion is only a small adjustment that doesn't matter. But truth be told is that over a 6-month period now, you get almost half of what you could get 5 years ago, and the Eververse prices have only inflated since then too. It's scummy and pathetic. What do you all think?